Chapter 9.3 Day 2 Solve by completing the square. Review. Making a perfect square trinomial. Find the value of c that makes the expression a perfect square trinomial. Then write the expression as the square of a binomial. Steps to making a perfect square trinomial. Step number 1. Find the coefficient of x. So this is the expression x squared plus 14x plus c. So what we are looking for is this number right here. And for that, you're going to take the coefficient of x, and that's b or 14, and take a half of that. So 14 over 2, that is 7. Step number 2, square the result of 1. So the result of 1 is 7. So you're going to square that. In other words, we can also say that b over 2 square. So you take the b, coefficient of x is always b, and then you take a half of that. So this is going to be b over 2. In the next step, you're going to take a square of that, so b over 2 square. And in this case, this example, you're going to take the square of 7, and then that is going to be 49. Replace c with the result of step 2. So what we got as b over 2 square is 49, and you're going to put it over here, x squared plus 14x plus 49. Step number 4, rewrite as a square binomial. Square binomial means that you're going to write this whole expression. So this is x squared, 14 means 2 times x times 7, 49 means 7 square. So you write a bracket, write the first number here without a square, and the last number here without a square. Sign of the middle term, that is positive, and then you're going to write a square of that, which means that x plus 7 square is a perfect square of the expression x squared plus 14x plus 49. If you solve this x plus 7 times x plus 7, you're going to use the binomial to solve it. You're going to get this expression back. Now we're going to use the you try problem to do more practice on how to find the value of c and how to write this expression as a square of a binomial. As the first step, I'm going to take a b, or a coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is 8, or b is 8. Now I'm going to take a half of b, which means 8 over 2, that is going to be 4. And then you're going to square 4 and replace c. So what you're going to get as a new expression, that is going to be x squared plus 8x plus 4 squared. You can write 8 as x squared plus 2 times x times 4. And if you write it in a perfect square binomial, you write a bracket here. Take x from here, 4 from here without a square, and write it as a perfect binomial. In the next one, you're going to take b as equal -2, or you can say that b over 2 is -2 over 2, and that's going to be -1. Then you're going to square that b over 2, or in other words -1, and you're going to replace c. So you're going to replace c with -1 square. So the new equation that, or expression that you're going to get is x squared minus 2 times x times 1 plus c is going to be negative 1 square. Negative 1 square is just 1, so you can rewrite this as 2 times x times 1 plus 1 square, and then you're going to rewrite it into a square, perfect square form. So x here, the first term from here, and the last term from here, that is 1. And then inside, you're going to take a negative sign, that is a sign of middle term, and you write it as perfect square. Next is number 3. Here the b is negative 6. You're going to write the b over 2, which is going to be negative 6 over 2, that's negative 3. You're going to square the negative 3 square, and you're going to replace with c. So the new expression that you're going to get is x squared minus 6x plus negative 3 square. If you want to write it in a perfect square form, I would just take the x from the first one and then 3 from the last term. The sign of the middle term, that is going to be a negative, so you're going to write here negative 3. In this one, when you add it, you can either add negative 3 square or just 3 square without the sign. Question number 4, you have b as negative 16. b over 2 is negative 16 over 2, that is negative 8. You're going to square it. So square of negative 8 square, which is ultimately going to be 64. And you're going to replace with c. So you're going to add here 64 or 8 square or negative 8 square. All are the same. Now you're going to make a perfect square for this expression. You're going to get the x here and the square root of 64, that is 8 here. Sign of the middle term, and you're going to get x minus 8 whole square. For the next one, the b is going to be 10, and b over 2 is going to be 10 over 2, that is 5. Now going to do the square of 5 and add or replace the c. So the equation that you're going to get, the new equation, is x squared plus 10x plus 5 square. You can also write it in other words, it's x squared plus 10x plus 25. And when you write a perfect square, you get the square root of x here, square root of 25 here, and you're going to get here is x plus 5 square. In the next question, b is negative 12, and half of b is going to be 12 over 2, that is negative 16. You're going to square that negative 6 square, and that's going to be 36, and replace with c. So new equation is going to be x squared minus 12x plus 36, and then the square is x minus 6 square. So the x squared, square root of x comes here, square root of 36 comes here. The center sign is the negative sign of the center term.